All right, we'll wait on, Commissioner Douglas when she gets here. So I'm going to call to order the February 22nd, 2021 Royal Oak City Commission meeting to order. We're going to begin with a quick roll call. Mayor Mike Fournier here, zooming in from Royal Oak, Michigan. Commissioner Perush?
Pat Perush from Royal Oak, Michigan.
Commissioner Macy?
I'm here in Royal Oak.
Commissioner Colo?
Here in Royal Oak.
Commissioner Hunt?
Here in Royal Oak.
And Commissioner Dubuck.
I'm here in Royal Oak.
All right, there's been a request to go into closed session to discuss attorney-client privileged information. Is there a motion? We have a motion by Commissioner Colo. Is there a second? A second by Commissioner Perush. Okay, we will do a roll call vote on this one. Commissioner Perush?
Yes.
Commissioner Macy, yes.
Commissioner Colo?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunt?
Yes.
And Commissioner Dubuck?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, we will go into closed session and we will return at 7:30 for our regular meeting. Ms. Schwanger, Mr. Wilson, just let us know when we're in closed session.
Did we do that right, Mayor? There was some talk about having a special note.
Can everyone hear me? All right, good. Well, this is much better than what we had before. So apparently the key to all computer problems is to turn off your PC and reboot. So it's a little past 7:30. We appreciate everyone's patience that may be tuning in. We just got out of closed session and a couple of us needed to reboot for technical reasons. So we're going to resume today's commission meeting for February 22nd, 2021. For those of you who are tuning in, I'll do another roll call. Mayor Mike Fournier zooming in here from Royal Oak, Michigan. Commissioner Perush?
Here from Royal Oak, Michigan.
Commissioner Hunt?
Here from Royal Oak, Michigan.
Commissioner Dubuck?
I'm here in Royal Oak, Michigan.
Commissioner Douglas?
Here in Royal Oak, Michigan.
Commissioner Macy?
Here in Royal Oak.
And Commissioner Colo is still, I see unique. There, uh-oh. I'm not sure what's happening here.
We are prepared to proceed though with this meeting, if that's okay.
We're just doing a quick roll call.
I'm sorry, I can't turn this off.
All right. Well, okay. Commissioner Cole, we'll give you a minute there. Are you calling in from Royal Oak, Michigan? Or the animal shelter?
Yeah. I'm in Royal Oak, Michigan, yes.
All right, perfect. All right. So we're going to begin the rest of tonight's meeting with an invocation given by Commissioner Douglas, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Douglas?
Thank you, Mayor. It's my honor to offer this invocation on the anniversary of George Washington's birth. Our founders worried that geography would divide our republic. In his farewell address, George Washington said, "It occurs as a matter of serious concern that any ground should have been furnished for characterizing parties by geographical discriminations, northern and southern, Atlantic and western, whence designing men may endeavor to excite a belief that there is a real difference of local interests and views." His fears were realized in the next century as North and South fought a terrible war over the abominable practice of slavery, a legacy that lingers today. On a more recent presidential occasion, another speaker, a descendant of slaves, also spoke of our geography. Is there any among us who was not moved by Amanda Gorman's poem, "The Hill We Climb"? Here's how that poem concluded. "We will rise from the golden hills of the West. We will rise from the wind-swept Northeast where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. In every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country, our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge, battered, and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Thank you, Commissioner Douglas. Really appreciate that. Very good invocation. I'll ask that you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask that you stand if you please can.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So our next agenda item this evening is Blessings in a Backpack update. Break.
I think Carol there's audio problems. Sorry, I can hear, but obviously it's not coming through. So we did invite someone from the organization, and unfortunately they were not able to join us this evening. But if someone does log in, we'll alert you. But
Okay.
so it's very noble work that they do, and unfortunately we just couldn't make the schedule work this time around. Perhaps we could bring them back at another time.
Absolutely, no worries. No worries at all. All right, that brings us to number 8, which is the legislative update from Senator McMorrow's office. I see there's Trombley here somewhere.
Yes. Hello, I'm here.
It's getting bigger and bigger for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me join you all tonight. I'm filling in for Senator McMorrow as she's on her maternity leave. So I'll try to do my best to live up to her. But so recently we had a call with a couple of local electeds to talk about the governor's budget recommendations, to kind of get their feedback and either concerns and areas or where they would like to see additional funding. We also got to talk a little bit about where the CARES Act funding came in and helped out local municipalities. So it was really great to get that feedback and how that funding has helped and where potential funding in the future is necessary or where it's needed. So any additional feedback you guys may have on that, we're really open and wanting to hear that. From our office, we had some legislation. Early in February, we dropped our license plate bills that would bring back the historical black and blue plates that we had, I think, in 1983, 2007, and then from 79 to 83. So we introduced that along with our remote voting legislation, the resolution to allow Senate session and committees to be held remotely. And then we also recently, this past Friday, dropped our reintroduced our tampon tax legislation that would exempt feminine hygiene products from sales and use tax in Michigan. I know in previous city council and commission meetings that I went to for other cities in our district, they asked about the Open Meetings Act for virtual meetings with the March Board of Review meetings coming up. And we've mentioned that to MDHHS, and in a call they mentioned that they were looking into it, but I don't know if they have the answers yet. We haven't gotten an update. So that's my brief little update from our office. If you guys have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Questions for Senator McMorrow's office or Ms. Trombley individually? Commissioner Colo and then Commissioner Dubak.
So Ms. Trombley, thank you for being here. Very excited for the senator to be on her maternity leave, and the office has kept right up. So I've seen your coffee hours, everything. So thank you for keeping those lines of communications open while the senator starts her new family. So what an exciting time for her and the family. One thing that's really interesting to me, and I know that the senator is very active in, is electric charging stations around the state. And as we move into our next phase of planning and budgeting for the year, we're really looking at environmental issues we could take up here. So I'm really excited to work with the senator, hopefully over the next year, on how we can add some more EV charging stations into our infrastructure.
Yeah, and she's just recently got appointed to the committee on that, so or commission. So really looking forward to the work that we're going to be able to do with that as well.
Commissioner Dubak?
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for being here, Ms. Tremblay. And I want to put you on the spot. So if you don't know the answer,
I'll try my
don't
best.
sweat it. My understanding is that the state's still sitting on $500 million. I know there's been some back and forth about essential services and COVID relief. Do you have any update on the status of that debate? It felt like there was headlines about this debate every day, and then it just went quiet.
Yeah, we've actually been getting a lot of communication from constituents as well, and it's I know there's some withholding of the funds based on their own political agenda from what I'm seeing. I don't see any update from that. A lot of it's being tied in the House. So I have not seen anything, but I'll be able to, jot that down and look into it a little bit more. But from what I've seen so far, I've not seen any movement on that, unfortunately.
All right, well, if there's anything, that, cities concerned about this can do, please, let us know, or have the senator let us know.
Yeah, I'm thankful to see a lot of communication from a lot of PTA members from our district across all of our cities. And I know we've gotten a lot of contact and communication from local officials as well. So I'm hoping a lot of other offices are getting that too.
Right. Thank you.
Mr. Macy?
Thank you for coming, Liz, and carrying on. I just wanted to ask if you could pass on the congratulations from the City Commission to Senator Rick Morrow on baby Noah.
Will do.
And Mr. Wirt.
Yes. We get photos on Friday every once in a while in our group chat. So I really look forward to those. But I will.
Anybody else? Well, Ms. Trombley, thank you for being here. Thank you for representing Senator McMorrow and all the work that you guys are doing as a team in Lansing on our behalf. Clearly, we're very happy with the representation we have. And if we can be of any consulting service on any issue, whether electric vehicles like Commissioner Coleman, or some of the stuff we're doing with environmental sustainability, stormwater runoff, all of these things, just let us know. We'd be happy to lend our experience and certainly learn from you and be a soundboard as well. So thank you for the work you're doing. Give our best to Senator McMorrow, and appreciate your time tonight.
Will do. Thank you for letting me join you guys.
Take care. All right, this brings us to item 9 on tonight's agenda, which is public comment. Ms. Schwinger.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Oh, phew. All right. Let me just get the public comment ready for you, Mayor Fournier, members of the City Commission. Okay. I understand that the sound is not coming through. Just give us 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Break.
You just share your screen. And then hit right down here, share sound.
Okay.
And then go into your email, and they should be your first 5, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, yeah, so there you go. Turn it all. Click open.
Hi, Royal Oak. My name is David Edmonds. I currently live in Royal Oak. I've been living here since 2015. I love this city, and I'm really happy with a lot of things about this city. But I recently got a letter or a little flyer in the mail saying keep marijuana out of our backyards, and it had a number to call the city commission. So I thought I'd give my thoughts. First of all, it really only has 2 claims on it, which I think are both pretty ridiculous, which is keeping our children safe and protecting our neighborhoods. I don't think there's any correlation of marijuana in a city and causing children to be unsafe or, somehow making our city more dangerous. I also think that this is a huge economic opportunity that could bring a lot of funds into the city, which I think the city needs. And to turn that away, I think would be silly and kind of stupid, in my opinion. I think other cities are going to, move forward with this, and other ones won't. And for us to not move forward on it will just kind of leave us in the past, and we'll just, it's just turning money away, and that's just an incredibly stupid thing to do over, thoughts that are, I believe, are just outright false. So, yeah, I just think, and this flyer doesn't even have who sent this out. This could be just dispensaries in the area not wanting competition, and I think that also is just a bad thing, right? The customer is always right, and so I think we should limit the city to having a certain amount of dispensaries or no dispensaries. We should allow the free market to thrive and see what happens, and the ones that are the nicest and the safest ones will kind of prosper, and it'll continue to bring funds to the city. So let's not be stupid and turn that away. And if someone opposes this, then I think they should also put their name out there. Is this a certain group that fundamentally believes marijuana is wrong, or is this other marijuana businesses trying to not have competition, which I kind of think it is. But anyway, have a nice day. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
Dr. Wallace Anderson, 404 Mount Vernon Boulevard. To comply with city ordinance, there is no doubt the Veterans War Memorial was intended to remain exactly where it is now. The DDA donated a large amount of money for its relocation and development. The DDA was unanimously adamant that the Veterans War Memorial location be permanent. The approved City Commission letter from 10/17/05 incorporates this DDA resolution. Be it resolved that the City Commission directs the City Attorney's Office and City staff to research the process and prepare the necessary documents to dedicate the proposed location as dedicated park property, with restrictions to relocating the monument held in perpetuity. The Commission directed the City Attorney to prepare appropriate ballot language. Now I understand Mr. Gillum recently gave an opinion that the ordinance permits the monument to be moved within the area defined by the ordinance's legal description. However, on July 18, 2007, he's quoted in the Royal Oak Review saying that the ordinance wording included more area than the War Memorial footprint because we did allow a little bit of leeway to make sure nothing can be done to the land. His recent opinion betrays the veterans, the donors, the City Commission, and the DDA. While your wrongful plan to move the Veterans War Memorial may be within the letter of the law, though I doubt it, it most certainly violates the history and spirit of the ordinance. The history of the Veterans Memorial recently posted on ROMI must be fact-checked against actual city accounting records. Financial data here seems to be from DDA minutes rather than actual expenditures. A major inaccuracy is the amount of money raised by the Memorial Society, which was in the range of $42,000 to $45,000 according to the city's ACORN records and the closely aligned Memorial Society records. A true accounting from the city is necessary to show how much the DDA really did spend and for what. As an almost 39-year tax-paying Royal Oak resident, I demand that. I also take offense at the task force claim that this small downtown park will be green space. The designs on Romy show more concrete and pavers than green space, and naming a large lawn a glade is specious. Architectural drawings labeled glade are doublespeak. A glade doesn't have areas of lawn hemmed in by hardscape. It's leafy with trees and shrubs around the grass and limited hardscape. The Veterans War Memorial Park is precious to our many veterans and to families and friends of Royal Oak's military heroes. It's a serene glade, well protected from skateboarders and beautifully accessible to people with mobility issues. And why is there a market plaza in the plan? What a waste of green space. We've got the farmer's market. Dr. Wallace Anderson.
Hey, I'm Zach Kleinsorge, and I live here in Royal Oak, and I got this flyer the other day about keeping marijuana out of our backyards. And the flyer makes the claim that this would endanger our children and that it brings crime to the neighborhood. And I can't see where this flyer came from. There's no identification on it, but it's just flat out wrong. And I think the city would be remiss to miss out on the economic opportunity that would be brought by allowing dispensaries and the marijuana businesses to locate themselves in Royal Oak. I've seen other counties miss out on this economic opportunity, and it's disappointing to say the least. So I'd really like to see the city of Royal Oak keep up with the times and not fall into the trap of believing this outright misinformation. Thanks for listening to my comment. I appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Mary Jo Cairo on Greenleaf in Royal Oak. I'm calling in regards to being opposed to the marijuana store in our neighborhood on Woodward Avenue. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Bob Chaharigan, and I just live right off of Woodward Avenue, and I'm calling because I do want the people, the city commission, to know that I don't want any marijuana facilities in this general area at all. In fact, I don't want any marijuana facilities in Royal Oak at all, for that matter. But I do want to make that very clear. I'm very concerned about this, concerned about the possible rise in crime and other problems that can easily occur. Please, no marijuana facilities in this area. Thank you very much.
Mayor Fornieri and City Commission, that concludes the public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Brake. We appreciate that, and we appreciate people taking time to call in and express their ideas. It's helpful for us to make decisions on behalf of everybody in the community, no matter what persuasion you have on any particular topic or issue. This brings us to item 10, which is the approval of the agenda. Based on discussions we had in closed session, I would ask that whoever moves this will also move some of the discussion we had coming out of closed session as well. Anyone wish to make a motion? Commissioner Perush?
I will move to approve the agenda with the addition of an item concerning interviews for the city attorney position and scheduling those.
We have a motion by Commissioner Perush. We have a second by Commissioner Macy. Discussion on the approval of the agenda. All right, with none, I will call for the vote. Commissioner Perush?
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak?
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas?
Yes.
Commissioner Macy?
Yes.
Commissioner Colo?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunt?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, we've established an agenda. All right, that brings us to the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull anything off the consent agenda? Okay, with no hands, the consent agenda now consists of City Commission meeting minutes from February 8th, approval of appointments, committee recommendation, confirmation mayoral appointment, claims February 12th, February 23rd, approval of purchase orders, declaration disposal of surplus property, standard resolution 2, special assessment paving of public alley west of Evergreen Drive, award of contract cap 2101-2021, concrete pavement replacement and prepaid sidewalk improvements, award of contract cap 2105, 2110, 2115, 2125, and 2135. Grant an easement for DTE Electric Company at Royal Oak Public Library, dedication of property for public right-of-way, Delaware Avenue, approval of Michigan Department of Transportation annual certification, and receive and file the local road status report. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as read? Motion by Commissioner Macy, a second by Commissioner Colo. All right, discussion on the consent agenda. Commissioner Colo.
I just want to congratulate all the people who have been appointed by the Appointments Committee to the ZBA, Aging in Place, Rehab Board of Appeals, and the Mayor's appointment to the Library Board.
Very excited to have community volunteers stepping up, and there's a lot of work to be done, exciting times, and very grateful for their willingness to serve and volunteer. Takes good people to make this city go around, and professional staff, Mr. Brady. All right. Any other discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. We'll start with Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak.
Yes.
Commissioner Prush.
Yes.
Commissioner Hunt.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, that brings us to item 12 on the agenda this evening, which is the adoption of the 2021-2022 fiscal year goals and objectives. Mr. Brady, you're going to kick this off.
Yes. Mayor and City Commission, presenting before you this evening is the proposed 2021-2022 fiscal year goals and objectives. Back on July 30th, excuse me, not July, I'm thinking warm thoughts. Back on January 30th, the City Commission and staff met to review the current goals and objectives. This document that's being presented is important to help guide initiatives and budgetary priorities for the upcoming fiscal year. This final product will help frame the discussion where the leadership staff can prudently use resources resulting in optimal service delivery. So what you have before you this evening is 8 goals, 24 objectives, and 58 action steps. The respective topics include infrastructure, operations, communications, community, economic and tax base, fiscal management, public safety, and lastly, sustainability. So this is presented for your consideration and adoption, and this will be included in the upcoming recommended budget that'll be forthcoming in just a few months.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brake. Questions, thoughts? Commissioner Macy.
First of all, I think it looks great. I feel like what came out of strategic planning seemed to me like a big mishmash. So I was pretty impressed that it got distilled down to what we see in front of us today. And also some of these things, you know, my group didn't discuss at all. So I was like, oh, what a great idea that someone had that I didn't have. So I was really pleased with it. It does feel a little ambitious. I wondered if that was your impression or the department head's impression too. It felt like almost every objective had an action step that like had something like develop plan to do large thing X. And I wondered if the department heads felt that way or what the feedback was from them, from city staff on this plan. I mean, I thought we were sort of going for not adding too much, and this feels like a big step, which I'm happy about, but it does seem like a lot.
So in response to that, yes, that is an ambitious plan of going through strategic planning, working for different organizations. I would view it this way. This is a start. These may not be completed within that time frame. But at the end of the year, that's worthwhile to revisit, say, where are we at, what yet needs to be done, so we know what the unfinished business. Will we accomplish all 58 action steps? I truly doubt it. This would symbolize more of what I'm accustomed to, like a 2 or 3 year plan. But you're right. I think we should set some lofty goals out there, and that we have that direction, and especially that we'll have at least one or two new staff persons coming on board, to say that, this rounds out with the things that we'd like to accomplish, and really get started on things. It also keeps us focused that if there's new things that arise, new priorities, I mean, we have to be nimble and adaptive, and look at that in the context of what are the most important priorities. There may be times where there is, because of the immediacy or urgency, that something comes up to the top that wasn't contemplated. So just be aware of that, kind of like a budget document, that you have the ability of amending things. But this is a very good plan, but it is ambitious. We don't want to set the expectation that everything will be completed. But I think at the end of the year that we should have some, good progress, and good information to say of the inroads that we have made, and be prepared to carry these forward into a few more years until we have them completed.
Thank you. So I know this is your first time with us doing this huge plan. How do you anticipate coming back to us with progress reports? Like, not till the end of the year or mid-year? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Ian, I would say I would look for feedback from all of you. Typically, what I've done is on an annual basis, meaning 1 year from now, not at the end of the calendar year, but to give a progress report. That would be the reasonable expectation. I think as we reach milestones, we should report on that. And especially what's important is that we should take a moment to celebrate. When we accomplish something, let's let everyone know about that. And conversely, when there's bad news doesn't get better with time. And to address that with immediacy, and to come up with a corrective plan. But from an overall perspective, to put this all these bundles into one basket, I would say to make that presentation annualized, and to say where are we at with things. But having that continuous communications. And one of our goals is communications, which kind of overlaps into all the items there. So that part is important. And we may look at some sort of a dashboard sort of system that holds us accountable. So this is certainly, we'll be actively working on it. This isn't boy, I'm glad we're done with that, and we'll just put that neatly on the shelf, and we'll view that some other time. No, that's not how this works. This is something that we'll be continually reviewing. This is something that'll be a reminder that when I meet with the department directors, to say, how are we doing? How are we doing on these steps that we're accomplishing? And even looking at delving into more of a granular level of coming up with cross departments to how can we accomplish these tasks, and not be in a silo sort of environment, and perhaps help and empower our employees to put them in a decision-making role, or adding value to the discussion. So there's many ways that we can go about that. But you're right. This is something that we'll look at some ways of how we can communicate that, and put that in a prominent spot on the city's website. And of other places where I've worked, have had some experience of things that have worked well, and things that haven't. Those are all good points.
And just on the timing thing, I'll add where it was helpful always, Mr. Brake, is when we come time to budget planning. Having the latest and greatest that we can reference and kind of talk in discussion for the next year's fiscal planning. When we start making capital improvement decisions, or certain things need funding of sorts. It's always good to have that handy and see the progress we're making and seeing what might be overflowing into the next year. And, maybe not something as formal, but, maybe as a checkpoint right before budget, if we have the most up-to-date copy that you can embed in that budget dialogue, that would be, I think, helpful as well.
Oh, I agree. Here's one other thought that I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. As we compile staff reports, if there is a new initiative or some program that comes about, I think that gives greater credence, greater weight, that in the staff report that we can dot the lines, that we can make that connection to say, let's bring this around, that we all agreed that, goal 8.3 or whatever that item is, and point that out as part of the staff report. I think that's important. That'll be the kind of that continuous reminder of the commitment to carrying those items forward. So,
very good. Other questions for Mr. Bray? Commissioner Dubak?
Thank you, Mayor. There's a lot to like in here. I'm really pleased, Mr. Brick, that I think we've done a much better job this time with the action steps actually having action words in them. So there's specific tasks. I really like the phrasing around neighborly, supportive, inclusive, healthy, and active community, where we've put neighborhood associations, aging in place, parks priorities, right? And then we also have the reference to the human rights ordinance and accomplishing our goals there. So question is, on the action step, we say provide needed resources, including labor, to support the Human Rights Commission, but we have not yet established the Human Rights Commission. So do we need an action step of establishing the Human Rights Commission? Or is that implied in this action step?
I would say that's implied. That's part of the secret sauce in order to bring that forward. There's some legal issues that we need to address along those lines, and to bring some reconciliation to determine, do we have the ability of implementing that immediately, or are there intermediary steps that we need to take in order to implement that? So that'll be the discussion that we'll have internally. Okay. But yeah, you're right. There will be some steps that we will need in order to carry that out.
Gotcha. So the establishment is a previously directed ongoing priority, and we're just planning to make it successful as part of our goals for this coming year. Cool. Couple others that jumped out were on our sustainability plan, which I love how aggressive we're getting here now. This is really a much more fleshed out version of what we've been building for years. So on action step 8.2.1 is increase tree canopy, but I feel like we need to establish a measurement for judging our success in our efforts to protect and increase our tree canopy. So I would like for us, and I don't think it's captured here anywhere, but I really want us to have a reporting mechanism that we get every year or every other year. And I know a tree audit is probably a laborsome endeavor, but at least a report on how many trees did we, the city, bring down, how many came down due to development, how many went in, some sort of metric there. We want to increase tree canopy, but how do we know we're succeeding?
Most certainly. So in that regard, that is a long and evolving process. Don't discount policies and programs that can help further that. And that likely will be an outcome, and not so much that the canopy area has been increased. Because on an example like that, and I'm glad you brought that up, we're only moving the needle very slight over a period of time. But if we can set a foundation over a period of time that will grow exponentially, then I would view that as being phenomenal success. So you bring up an interesting concept, and the other thing is that with any program development, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So we can all come up with anecdotal stories of saying that, well, we heard this increase there, but we have to have some mechanism through technology, and that may involve, purchasing software programs that would, help us to develop this database or the baseline in order to manage that. So that I could go on in a pretty lengthy discussion, but we're you get some sense of kind of my thought process of how do we tackle this, and that we can show some progress, and that we can show the residents and stakeholders that we are making progress.
Right. Because I mean, this is something that residents, and that most of us at the table are very passionate about. And there was online chatter today about some folks saw some trees come down in an easement, and probably presenting a safety hazard, or they were diseased or something. And I want to be able to say, like, I can say, I can inventory all the things we're doing, but I would love to say, not only do we win the Arbor Society Tree City Award every year, but we can show this measurement of how many more trees we're planting that are coming out every year. And I think that would, it takes someone's breath away when they see a tree that they're used to seeing gone. So I would really point to a metric like that.
I agree.
Those are my couple comments. I think this looks great. I agree with Commissioner Macy. It's ambitious, but I mean, I wouldn't want you all to have any idle hands. So this is good.
Commissioner Dubuk pays taxes. Commissioner Perush.
I don't have a whole lot to add. I would agree that this is a very ambitious plan. It makes me want to have like a nap every day, because it's a lot of work, not only for us as commission to develop the policies to implement a lot of these things, but also a lot of work, obviously, for the staff. Even though we are going to be getting a couple of new administrators that will help with some of these issues, definitely. In terms of the tree issue, one measurement that we already have is in the block grant program, a fair chunk of money is set aside every year to use that money for the planting of new trees. I can't remember how many hundreds of new trees are a part of that program this year. So that's a very small part of the whole tree canopy issue. And obviously there are other methods and policies in place to increase the number through the zoning ordinances and the tree replacement ordinance and so on that we just adopted. But I think we can point to some things at least already by at least looking at the amount of dollars that we're allocating to tree replacements through the block grant program, which is a pretty ambitious number. I think the last number that I saw was 600, which is quite a few trees. But this is an ambitious program, and I really compliment the staff for their efforts in putting together the action steps and giving us a whole heck of a lot of work to do, but it's all good work.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the question Mr. Brake has answered was, can you do all this? How do you feel about it, that I had? And I think he answered it pretty well. And, just with anything, you got to have a vision, you got to have a plan. And most of us have been around long enough in life that sometimes you're throwing curveballs, and sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you come up with a brand new innovation that knocks out 3 or 4 of these goals really, really well, or better than you thought you could do. So, at the end, I think not only are we accomplishing or setting out to accomplish great things for our community, we're also setting the tone and setting a culture for City Hall that they understand what the community is really looking for through their representation to deliver upon. And so when you take these items, specific things, but when you roll them up into something bigger, hopefully it resonates with every department head, every manager, and every employee that this is what the people of Royal Oak are looking for. These are the things, the priorities, but also, the values that we share. And we're looking for value-based management. We're looking for value-based priorities. And I think that, this document, whether we get it all done in 1 year or a couple years or things ebb and flow, I think it really sets the right message and tone. So we're all working around the same set of values. All right. Anybody else have any other comments or questions? So, Mr. Brake, what would be your ideal outcome of this agenda item?
Unanimous approval.
Okay. Commissioner Douglas.
I'll move approval of the resolution.
A motion by Commissioner Douglas. We have a second by Commissioner Dubak. Any discussion? All right, with none. Oh, Commissioner Hunt.
I just wanted to thank my fellow commissioners and the staff for spending an entire Saturday to help put this together. It was, 7 or 8 hours, and the staff, took a Saturday to go step by step to determine how to best move this along, what was working, what wasn't working, where the progress was, and amending things as needed. So thank you for that. Thank you for helping to help our city progress. And that was it. That was it for me.
Well, and I want to echo that, but I also want to thank our new commissioners because you guys really hit the ground running. You did your homework, you know what's going on in the community, and I can see the positive contributions that both of you made in the strategic planning, which is, frankly speaking, Kyle and I always joke about our first meeting. We didn't even make a motion. We're like, oh, we're supposed to make a motion. It was kind of like overwhelming for a while. And you guys really just came to the table ready to work on behalf of the residents of Royal Oak. And I'll tell you, that makes me feel so good as a resident. So thank you for your efforts and heavy lifting. And Commissioner Colo, thank you for having to bear with me in our breakout session. And also to Ms. Davids and of course our wonderful, wonderful chief of the fire department, Chief Cummins. I think Chief O'Donoghue knows him. He's the wonderful one. And they had to deal with me. So, and they're still here. They didn't quit. It's amazing.
We managed to get through despite of it.
All right. So we got a motion on the table. Any other discussion? Commissioner Colo, did you have something?
I just want to add, I'm very excited to see all that we put together. Like Commissioner Macy said, despite having you and I in that group, these master thinkers, we didn't come up with all these amazing ideas also. So it's just great to see how the 7 of us with all the city staff were able to come up with these ideas. For people newer to city government, I mean, this is really what drives the city for the year. People may not realize that these are really what sets the pace for how staff comes about. A lot of the plans that are made throughout the year are based on our strategic plan. So people, I'd encourage the public to, take a look at this if you're bored on a Friday night, like I am sometimes, and just want to dive into city government. That's always fun to do. But it's a great way to see what our thought processes are. You're going to see a lot of infrastructure work in here. We talk about the park, talk about drainage. I mean, we're coming up to, it's pretty wet outside right now. I can only imagine what it's going to look like in April and May when we're trying to, deal with the drainage in parks. But that's a goal that we have set already. Like we know that these problems are coming and we need to look into them. So, kudos to staff coming up with a lot of these ideas. And I'm looking forward to all the green infrastructure. I mean, we've really dug deep into it this year. So like Commissioner DeBuck said, we had that Arbor Day Tree City, and now it's protecting it, keeping it, and moving forward, being leaders in the future. So thank you to everyone.
Anybody else? All right. Well, by the way, this isn't just work for staff. We have to, when these issues come up and there's decisions to be made and there's engagement to be had, we're going to have to do our job to, make the easy decisions and make the tough decisions and, balance priorities and deal with curveballs. But I'm confident that this group of thinkers will make it happen. So, especially with the help of our amazing staff. So if there's no other discussion, I'll call for the vote. We'll start with Commissioner Hunt this time.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak.
Yes.
Commissioner Prush.
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right. Well, we got a list. Good luck to staff, and we look forward to you guys bringing these things to our table to celebrate the progress. All right, that brings us to the only other item on our agenda tonight that was added during the agenda approval, which is the discussion about the applications for city attorney and who we shall bring back for interviews and what dates we should do it. And so I know Commissioner Prush kind of made the motion there, so I'll open it up to her.
Okay, I will make a motion directing the staff to, in conjunction, in cooperation with the City Commission, set up public interviews for the following candidates. Candidate 1, Candidate 2, Candidate 3, Candidate 5, Candidate 9, and Candidate 10.
Motion by Commissioner Perush. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Macy. All right. Discussion on the motion. Commissioner Perush.
For those of the members of the public who are watching, it is allowable under the Open Meetings Act to review applications for administrative positions like this in closed session, which we did this evening, if the applicants request confidentiality. And all of the applicants that we had for this position, and they are all excellent, requested confidentiality. However, on a going forward basis, once we get into the public interview process, all of those public interviews, and we have asked to have 6 set up for 6 different individuals, all of those individuals will be interviewed publicly. And then if there are any subsequent interviews, those will be public discussions. And then if there is any discussion after that as to which individual we would like to hire as the city attorney, there will also be a public discussion. So we've had confidential discussions about the applications up to this point, but on a going forward basis, this process will be a public process. And so everyone who's interested will be able to see how we come to the final conclusion in terms of actually choosing our city attorney.
Commissioner Perush. Mr. Brake, I did see you raise your hand.
Yes. I wanted to raise the issue of scheduling, if I'm appropriate for everyone to look at their calendar. I mentioned Wednesday, and that won't work for at least one person in the commission. I wanted to throw out Saturday, March 13th. Mr. Vetrano said he is available.
Saturday, March 13th.
Yeah, and we don't absolutely have to confirm that this evening, but I can do this a whole lot quicker. And you know, if you find that there is a problem, I would say let me know.
It's not great for me. I could do it. The 14th would be better.
James didn't give me that date.
I mean, the 13th works for me.
Okay.
It works for me too.
Who knows?
The next step would be, and I would ask Carol to help me, is Monday the 15th. I don't know if that conflicts with any other meetings.
That one also works for me.
I would
It
prefer,
works for me.
I would prefer that over the Saturday.
Okay.
Like
So
early
again, we would be looking at, this would be a 4 o'clock start time.
Okay.
So when it tentatively use pencil, do not use ink. Let me confirm that. And we do have one meeting that it does conflict, but we will see if we can have a concurrent webinar meeting and see if we can work around that. So so there is a commission for the arts, but we'll see if we can either reschedule that, or if we can use another platform. And that may be a case of yours truly helping you be the moderator if we go with Monday the 15th. So Mayor, we have another hand that was raised.
I see Commissioner Perush. That's the one I see.
I'm the city commission representative to the Commission for the Arts. And we have a couple of things that we've been talking about, but because there are so many of our programs that we just can't conduct during the pandemic, we have almost been like on a hiatus, especially now that the mural is complete and the lighting is complete. So having that meeting rescheduled to a different date would not be the end of the world. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
I do know we have a motion on the table right now, right? So
yeah, the motion isn't predicated on setting the meeting.
Right. So the motion is just inviting those ones back to the interview, but if we do get a time for the meeting, I think we can, you would just send that out as an appropriate meeting notice, or do you need a second motion to establish the meeting?
No, we can establish the date.
Okay.
I think by virtue of that we're operating under the auspices that I think it's to establish a special meeting, and it's so many commission members that can determine that. But
well, I think I can. I mean, if we get alignment or whatever, worst case, I can call the meeting.
yeah. But I would say
Yeah.
block that evening off the 15th. And if it's virtually impossible, I'll let you know, or if any of you determine that you had some other conflict. But let's go on that, but look for a confirmation email.
Okay, perfect. All right, any other discussions on the motion? All right, well, I'm going to call for the vote. We'll start with Commissioner Prush.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
And Commissioner Hunt.
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, so we got some final candidates at this time, all, identified by number. And we'll get the time and the public interview started. And just like Commissioner Prush said so eloquently, a lot of these folks are currently employed, and we have to respect the confidentiality because, good candidates probably don't go around telling their bosses, hey, I'm looking for another job. This is, so we want to respect that privacy, and every city does this, every industry. And so, but we get to a point where we narrow the list down, got to make it public. We want to make it public because we want citizen input. So that's coming up next. So that'll be a really good opportunity to meet the candidates and look for citizen feedback. This is an important role in the community. All right, well, notwithstanding anything else for the betterment of our community, does anyone have anything they want to share, anything to talk about, or does anyone want to move to adjourn? Commissioner Macy.
Move to adjourn before Commissioner Cole thinks of something.
Okay, let's get this. We have a motion by Commissioner Macy, and we have many seconds. I'm going to go with Commissioner Dubak on this one. So we have a motion to adjourn. Is there any discussion on the motion to adjourn?
I had so much to talk about.
It's good to have you back. We could talk about your cat face a little bit later. All right, now it doesn't look like we have any discussion, so I'll call for the vote. We'll start with Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak.
Yes.
Commissioner Prush.
Yes.
Commissioner Hunt.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
And Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
And I vote yes. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, staff, for all of your preparation. To Richard and Carol for all your help with the technicals on the Zoom. To our men and women in uniform, keeping us safe. And certainly to all the staff, we really appreciate everything you do. And to the citizens of Royal Oak, thank you for taking your time to email us, call us, provide your input to help us make the best decisions we can on the behalf of everyone that calls this vibrant and beautiful community home. Take care, everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you next.
Thank you.